This is the DJI Mini 4 Pro, arguably the best drone for creators and prosumers on the market. And in this video, I'm going to showcase 5 reasons why the DJI Mini 4 Pro shines above all other drones in this category. First one is a pretty obvious one, you can't ignore it. Size matters.
That's what she said.
The DJI Mini 4 Pro weighs in at 249 grams, under the weight limit in most places in the world, meaning that you don't need to register it in order to fly it. If you want to use the Air 3S or the Mavic or any of the other bigger DJI drones, depending on where you live in the world, you need to register them and you need some sort of license in order to fly them. Aside from being able to skip the hassle of registering it and getting a license in order to fly it, one of the big advantages to having a drone this small is for travel. Being this small and compact, you can easily just tuck it away in your backpack when you're traveling. I just got back from a trip to Arizona where I only brought a carry-on and a personal item. And the only reason that I brought a drone is because I have a drone so small that it barely takes up any space in my backpack. When you're limited on the amount of space you have, you really have to decide which camera gear you actually need to bring with you when you're traveling somewhere, and being able to tuck this away pretty much anywhere makes it a pretty easy bring when you're traveling. Granted, I do have the bigger controller with the screen on it because I like having the screen on the controller, but if you wanted to save even more space, you could get the smaller controller where you plug your phone in to use your phone as the screen, and you can save that much more space in your travel bag. You could also save some money too by going with the other controller. All right, now obviously the most important aspect of any drone or piece of camera gear is the quality of the footage and the images that it captures. And when it comes to the DJI Mini 4 Pro, it does not disappoint. Starting off with the photos, they're amazing. You can shoot up to 33 megapixel photos in both RAW and JPEG, and they actually edit quite nicely in Lightroom. Quick tip regarding photos in the DJI Mini 4 Pro, it's a 1/1.3 inch sensor, which means that you want to shoot in a 4:3 aspect ratio to really get the most out of your sensor. You can also shoot in true vertical mode, which means that the camera itself actually rotates on the gimbal and it doesn't just crop in, which is super handy when you're shooting for things like Instagram or YouTube Shorts. Speaking of which, video is also amazing on this thing. You can shoot in 4K 24, 30, 60, and you can even shoot in D-Log, which makes color grading a lot easier with the Mini 4 Pro. It obviously doesn't compare to a true log footage that you get out of a Sony camera, for example, but for the size and the cost, it's pretty good. I've upgraded to the DJI Mini 4 Pro from the DJI Mini 3, so having the 10-bit D-Log footage is a nice upgrade to have in addition to having 4K 60 now. I gotta be honest, when I first got this drone, I knew that it had the ability to do Waypoint missions. I just had no idea how handy that they would actually be. Just to give a quick rundown on how they work. When you're flying, you can click this little icon here to go to waypoints, and then you can go and set up a sequence of shots that you want to capture. At each point, you can add a waypoint, which I have mapped to one of the buttons at the back of the controller. Now you can start the waypoint mission, set the speed, and your drone will fly through those points that you have set up. This makes setting up repeatable shots so easy. So if you wanted to track the progress of a house being built or a construction site, or let's say you wanted to take the exact same shot at midday and then again at sunset. Well, by setting up a waypoint mission, that becomes super easy to do. One really useful thing that I've been using waypoints for personally is drone mapping. Drone mapping is essentially just taking a whole bunch of photos of an area that you want to map, uploading them to a piece of software that does drone mapping, which will then create either a 2D or a 3D map of your area. Using a tool called Waypoint Map, you can set up an autonomous drone mapping mission, which is essentially just a fancy way for saying your drone flies itself and takes pictures at intervals that you specify. The only reason this is possible is because the drone has waypoint capability. Then using a piece of software like Drone Deploy, or there's a bunch of other ones, Drone Deploy is just the best in my opinion, albeit very expensive. You upload all your photos into it and then it just spits out a 3D map for you. It's pretty cool. If you work in the construction or the agricultural industry, this could be super useful for you. There's a lot more to this obviously, and I don't have the time to get into it in this video, but the only reason that all of this is even possible is because the DJI Mini 4 Pro has waypoints. Something that gives me a lot of peace of mind when I'm flying the DJI Mini 4 Pro over my old DJI Mini 3 is the addition of the omnidirectional safety sensors. Meaning all around the drone there are little sensors that detect when you're flying too close to an object and will prevent a crash. There's different ways to set this up in your drone, so you can have your drone hover if it detects that it's too close to an object, or you can even have it try and fly around the object. It's really up to you how you set it up, but having it there can definitely help you and prevent a crash. Personally, I just fly safe distances around the objects that I'm flying, but it's nice to know that these sensors are there and they'll give me a warning if I get too close to something. The tracking features in the DJI Mini 4 Pro are a game changer, especially if you're coming from a drone that didn't have tracking features like the Mini 3. There's two main features that I use all the time. The first and the most obvious one is active tracking a subject. This is super useful if you want to get drone footage of yourself. You can set the drone up to active track you, you can put the controller down, you can walk away, and the drone will then follow you. I'm pretty excited to try this out this summer at the cottage when I'm on the boat. Last year when I was flying my DJI Mini 3 behind the boat, I had to manually keep up with the boat, which was a little bit challenging, so I'm excited to just try and see if it'll actively track the boat and I can just sit there and don't have to worry about it. I'll let you guys know how it turns out. The second way that I use tracking on the drone, and probably even more so than active tracking subjects, is to lock onto a subject. I know it sounds like it's the same thing, but hear me out. So a shot that I like to do a lot with the drone is an orbit shot. A really easy way that you can set this up using the tracking features on the drone is to draw a little box around the subject or the object that you want to do an orbit around, let it lock onto that subject, and now you can just hold right on the joystick and you can easily do a little orbit. What makes this even easier is that you can map one of the buttons on the back of your controller to cruise control, keeping the speed the exact same for your orbit. Like I said in this video, I had a Mini 3 before upgrading to the DJI Mini 4 Pro, so the features that I was getting by upgrading made sense for the cost of the upgrade. That being said, if you're coming from a DJI Mini 3 Pro and you're looking to upgrade to the DJI Mini 4 Pro, I can't say that I'd recommend the upgrade given the amount of features that the Mini 3 Pro already has, especially since the 5 is likely not that far away. That being said, if you're in the market for a new drone and you want a mini drone that you can take anywhere and you don't need to worry about licensing, then definitely go for the Mini 4 Pro. It's by far the best drone in this category of drones on the market. Yes, the DJI Mavics and the Airs have better photo quality and better image quality, bigger sensors and all that, but you need to register them, you need a license, and so to avoid all that headache, if that's something that you're trying to do, then the Mini 4 Pro is really your best bet. This video is not sponsored, by the way. I didn't say that before, but it's not sponsored. This is just my opinion. All right, that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. If it was and you want to keep seeing stuff like this, then be sure to subscribe and you won't miss out on my next video. I'll see you guys in the next one.